we are. And we're live on Instagram. Let's Talk Live with the Traveled Path Collaborative. I'm Gigi.
And I'm Annette.
And we come to you almost every Wednesday to talk to one of our amazing female creators. And this week we are going to talk to Taylor, and we're very excited about speaking with her. She is an amazing, interesting person. And is there anything you wanted to say before we bring Taylor on?
We're probably going to have a lot of fun with her.
Yes.
And yes, Taylor happens to be the daughter of one of my very best friends who is no longer with us. And yeah, so it's very special that we are having her on today. So very excited to see her.
Hi. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very excited to be doing this.
We're very excited to have you on, and I'm excited to virtually meet you.
Yes, it's nice to virtually meet you too.
And thank you. How is your little daughter?
She's good. She just left for the park. I knew she was going to be a little rambunctious, so my husband took her to the park.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. It's hard to do things with little ones around, for sure.
Definitely, especially when it comes to like speaking and meetings and all that kind of stuff. She's a talker. She's a talker, so.
She's a little cutie. Love it. Love it. So, Taylor, tell us where you're based out of. You know, you don't have to tell us specifically, but yeah.
Yeah. So I'm in Ventura County. I was living in LA. Like, I've been in LA for about 9 years now. We recently moved to Ventura County, I want to say last year. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's been 9 years since you've been out here.
Almost 9 years. Yeah. This year, September will be 9 years. So, yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Time flies, right?
I know. And I love it. Love it out here.
Do you? Okay, that's what I was going to ask you.
Not leaving California.
Okay, awesome. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Yeah. So I am a psychic, medium, and an intuitive healer. I help bring comfort to those who are grieving the loss of a loved one, including a pet. People often ask if I connect with pets. Absolutely, I do. And I am clairvoyant, so I'm able to see things with my third eye. I'm also clairaudient, so I can hear things. I'm more so on the clairvoyant side versus clairaudient, but those are kind of the two senses that I use. I also am able to feel things. So sometimes if I'm connecting with somebody who had passed, my experience pain in my chest, and usually that's like the sign that they passed from a heart attack, or I feel like joint stiffness. Usually it's about like an illness or something that they had when they were earthside. So basically my job as a medium is to bring through evidential information to show that their consciousness continues to live on, they are still with us every single day, and B, how they were when they were earthside, what their personality was like, the things that they like to wear, their interests, who they were associated with. So it's really all about proving to whoever is looking to have that connection with somebody who had crossed over that this is like, they're here, they know what you're going through. I'm also able to see somebody's past experiences, like their family lineage, what they've been through. Maybe they need some clarity and healing, their blockages, things that are kind of setting them back from living their purpose and fulfilling whatever that they want to do in life. And also present events, future events. Yeah, I'm able to see it all, and I'm very grateful for this ability. It's been life-changing, and it's felt like it's existed in me my whole life. I always knew it did, but it really took a lot of healing from my own personal trauma to also losing my dad. And after that, I was really exposed to like the truth of who we all are as humans and like what this world even is. I've had so many experiences around his death and seeing things for what they truly are that like really opened my eyes. And I truly believe, not to sound dramatic, but if my dad never passed, I don't think that I would understand that this is who I truly was, because it really took him, and I feel like I'm driven by him to kind of pass this along and help people. He wants me to show people that, you know, that their loved ones still live on, because I've seen mediums and I know what that is like for me and the comfort that that's giving me. And every single medium I've seen, they've all said the same thing: you're a psychic, you're a medium. And I'm like, there's no way. This is kind of before I knew that I had these abilities, and they've been able to kind of bring it out of me. And that's when I kind of just started questioning, like, maybe I can help, you know, pass this along. I know what it feels like to receive a mediumship reading. So that's kind of, you know, what I do for others.
Wow, Taylor.
sorry that was a lie.
That's
I'm
amazing.
usually
No,
I'm usually the one that's on the interview side, so I'm like not talking as much.
No,
I have a podcast.
Love it.
So
I love it. That's amazing. I mean, what a gift, you know? I mean, I think, yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I feel very, very grateful. I think the one thing that makes me happy is knowing that I'm bringing someone else comfort, because, man, to lose a person, like especially a parent, is like a blow to the gut. Like, it is the worst thing you could ever go through. Just losing anybody in general that you were so, you know, connected to on so many levels. And I feel like that is my purpose, to help others deal with their grief and, you know, just deal with anything. If they need healing in whatever, I feel like I'm able to understand people, if that makes sense.
Yes, and that's really amazing, you know, that sometimes something so horrible, you know, can shift into something so positive. And that's
Right.
so interesting, the way the universe works that way.
Right.
You know, it can, like, one thing leads to another. One door closes, another door opens, and that type of a thing. And you're living proof of that.
Absolutely. And I think that also, you know, losing somebody, they're not going to want you to sit here. And of course, you're going to have your bad days. I'm not perfect. Just because I'm a medium doesn't mean I don't grieve. I absolutely have my horrible days. But what really brings me back is, like, you know, that my loved one wouldn't want me to sit here and make that experience negative and live out the rest of my life negatively, or treating others like negatively. So I truly believe that my dad was always a positive person. He always saw like the best in people and always brought out the best in people, you know, Annette. And I feel like that is my, like, the way that I honor him is through this. So.
And he is beaming right now.
Absolutely. And I just want to say, like, he would totally be here in this chat right now, like telling all the dad jokes and being so stupid and silly. Like, that's the type of person he was. So I can just see him doing that.
Oh, I love it. Oh, well, so how long have you been doing this for? Like, what's your process been like? When did this start for you?
Yeah. So, okay, my whole life, I've known that I was different. I couldn't put a finger on it. I think, you know, I grew up in a family that put a lot of labels on me. Like, I started to believe a lot of things negatively about myself, let's just say. So I always took that, and, you know, as a kid, you believe it. You start to believe it, and then you go even deeper down that hole. And I really, you know, by the time I was a teenager, I became very depressed, very anxious, just not sure of like my purpose in life. Like I knew I had a purpose, but I didn't know how to get there because of all these labels that were put on me as a human. And so I, after becoming a mom, I really, said no more. Like, I'm not going to pass this pain on to my children, and I don't want her to pass this pain on to her children. So I need to be the brave one. I need to be the cycle breaker. So I really went on a healing journey. I started, recognizing my toxicities. I needed to turn inward and say, like I wasn't a good person in the past because I didn't know any better. And so I really had to work on myself. I've been to therapy, but that only got me so far. A diagnosis without healing just keeps you sick. That's what I always say. And I really, really needed to heal myself. So I really dived deep into what I wanted in life and who I wanted to surround myself. And I had to let go of a lot of things, do a lot of cord cutting. And then the mediumship just started to kind of come in, like in between all the little healing, things that I was doing, like hearing people's names out of nowhere. And I'm like, to my husband, I'm like, do you know like an Elizabeth? And like, I would hear it for months. And I would be woken up in the middle of the night, just hearing a name and feeling a presence. And I'm like, when I was a kid, I used to be afraid because I would feel presences in my room. And there was like a really dark figure that used to be in my room for like a year, and I would talk to it and tell it to go away, like those kind of things. Cause you would see scary movies growing up and you associate it with that. But as an adult now that I've kind of like understood mediumship, I'd hear someone's name or I'd get a date and I'm like, what is all of this? And then something would happen and I'm like, oh, like I was having a premonition. And then I would say at the beginning of this year is when the thing that really broke through was my husband's aunt, who I never met before, her ex-husband who passed away was coming through to me. And I didn't know why. So I just decided to meditate one day. I'm like, maybe I can get some information, who knows? And it just flooded through. And I was like, wow, like this person's communicating with me. Like, so I contacted her the next day, scared to death to even ask her because I was afraid she was going to think I was weird. And she's like, that's my ex-husband. She confirmed everything that I saw. And she was like, the reason why he's probably coming to you is because his birthday is today. And he wanted to acknowledge that he was here. And then after that, I was like, this is what I was meant to do. Like, it brought her a lot of comfort. I saw that, she questioned, she's like, I questioned if he even loved me when he was here. And that was just confirmation that he did. So yeah, it was pretty insane. And then from there, I just started doing donation readings, and then, connecting people with their loved ones, and it just kind of unfolded all from there.
So now this is what you do on a regular basis. This is like your, okay.
It's not like my full-time thing, but
okay.
what I would say is, like, this is how I put it, like the people who feel comfortable to come to me are the people that I'm meant to connect with. Because it's so hard, skeptics and, not fully understanding. I feel like just a lot of people are very uneducated on mediumship and what psychics do, and not in a bad way. I just think people form their opinions and they stick with it and they run with it, but the people that are truly open to it are the people that are meant to work with me, so.
Got it. And what motivates you to keep doing this?
Yeah, I would say, the two things: the unconditional love that I feel for people who I barely know, but I can see their pain, and vice versa, the people who see me for who I am and accept me for who I am, because I've had so much in my life, people telling me, you're not okay, you need help, you're mentally unstable, all these
Really?
things, all these things. And I'm just like, no, that's not who I am. And the people now who see me, like, this is who she authentically is, and she can open up and talk about herself in a way where she's known all along who she was, but was too afraid to speak in that way. those are the people that motivate me, because there's so many people out there who inspire me, who have a voice, and I always felt like I didn't have a voice, and I always felt like I can't do anything right, you know, I don't have a purpose. And when you live in that fear for so long and you don't heal from that, you're gonna continue to, you know, live in that and never live your purpose. So you have to just like let that go. And the people that motivate me are those people who are able to see that about themselves too, and see that about me. So yeah.
Oh, that's great.
And my dad.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's so wonderful. It's like you have this different kind of relationship with him now.
Oh, 100%. I'm going to tell a quick story here on how I still connect with him. So he comes to me very often. I can tell when he's coming through. He's always around in his younger self. When I see spirits, I'm able to see them in like their physical form, how they looked. I can describe like what they looked like, what their personality was like. So my dad always comes to me in his younger form. And my favorite story is one time he came to me. It was the day that my sister was in her C-section surgery. And I was just crying to him, and I'm like, oh my God, like if only you were here to know that this was happening, blah, blah, blah. And like, you know, after her surgery happened, he came to me and he showed me him in the surgical room, and he showed me like a kind of a view of like looking at her. And he was highlighting this nurse, and I could describe her perfectly, what she was wearing, what her hair was like, everything. So I told my sister, I was like, what's with like a nurse? Was there like a nurse that you were connected to? And I described everything she looked like, and she flipped out and was like, oh my gosh, like that was the nurse I was talking to about dad, and I was crying for him. And I just told her like she was an angel sent here from my dad, because I don't know how I could have gotten through the surgery. And it just brought her so much comfort. So it's like so true that you can still continue that bond with your loved ones. It's not impossible. Like you still can. It's like a little phone call to heaven, like I like to call it. So yeah, I still bond with him and all of my past loved ones to this day. So that also helps my grief as well.
Hi, Cameron.
This is very much true. It is true.
Yes. And that's your sister?
Yes.
Oh, awesome. I love it. Yes. And she says, this is very much true. Yeah. What a great story.
Yeah.
So when you do this, how does it work? Like, do you go to people? Do you do it online? Like, how does this manifest?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I've only done it, like I've only kind of done it virtually, because I feel like that's just, I can reach anybody. Usually it's through FaceTime or Zoom. Sometimes people don't have time for that, so they'll just come to me and ask me, and I'll send them like a voice memo or something. But mostly I prefer to do it like kind of like this, like a FaceTime, and there's no difference in connection. So
okay. Okay. Yeah. And I've heard that from a lot of people who are energy type workers. Like it doesn't matter where you are, and you don't have to be in the room with the person.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, exactly. And sometimes you're not going to hear from everybody you want to, because it might just not be the right time. So I feel like a lot of, you know, people might have that misconception, but that's why it just truly doesn't matter where you are in the world. I can connect with anybody. It's just it's wherever my intention is. And I was a skeptic about that as well. When I was on the other side, there was a medium who I would see, and I just was like, no, I have to see you in person. And she's like, there's no difference in connection. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, that's great. So, and you've also connected with other mediums.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I started seeing a medium. The person who really inspired me to get into mediumship was Tyler Henry. I started watching his Life After Death show on Netflix after my dad passed. And then I was like, wow, I want to do what he does. And I was lucky enough to receive a reading from him, which was really cool. At his live show in LA.
Yeah, I'd love to hear about
dad came through. Yeah, that's a whole other story.
Yeah.
But he really, really inspired me. So that's kind of how I really like got into actually going and seeking a medium for my own healing. So yeah.
Out of all those thousands of people, she was one that,
Yeah,
and
there was
when
about
he went, I
7,000 people there.
knew, yep, I knew he was going to come through, and I
I did as
was
well.
all, yeah.
I love it. That's so cool.
Yeah.
So tell us, like, what advice might you give to other women who are maybe, either struggling with this or want to, be where you are, figure themselves out, figure out, their passion, or figure out what their calling is?
100%. Because something I needed to hear was that I needed to accept and let go, and not so much like let go in the sense of like move on and forget about everything you've been through, but you really have to come to a place of like accepting that you're not happy with where you're at in life and you want to, be somewhere else, and you see yourself have a bigger purpose. And when you come to terms with that and accept it and choose to heal from it, then you literally can do anything. Like you literally can do anything. Like I never thought that this was in me. And it's not just with mediumship. Just like, if you want to start a business, or if you want to make X amount of money, like what is holding you back? Your fears. Okay, well, what are your fears? Are your fears anxiety? Okay, well then if they're anxiety, what are your anxieties? What are your triggers? How do you heal from that? And I know it sounds like easier said than done, but you have to really, it takes a very long time. I feel like I've been healing my whole life. I've been picking apart myself my whole life. Like, no, I need to fix this about me and fix this about me. And it just became so toxic where now I'm to the point where it's like, I need to love myself and then I can heal. If that makes sense.
That makes so much sense. And that right there is amazing advice, to stop the nitpicking and, kind of go,
you can
this
go
is it,
in circles. You can go in circles and nitpick and not like things about yourself and fall into,
and that's all
that.
of us.
Yes,
Yeah.
everybody. And I'm definitely not perfect. I definitely have my days where I'm like, oh, I don't know about this, but I feel like learning to find your own ways of joy and happiness. It's in the little things. Like, my child is my biggest motivator too. And I feel like once you have like a purpose of why you need to heal, it makes it so much easier for you to actually heal and then realize, okay, that was blocking me from pursuing this goal or starting this business or doing this thing. So yeah.
Sometimes we're our own worst enemy, right?
Yes.
We stand in our own way. So
yes.
yeah. So can you tell us a fun fact about yourself?
Yeah. So a lot of people don't know that I actually moved out to LA to pursue dance. Like I was a professional dancer. I was a dancer my whole life. Annette, you probably know. My dad's always posted videos about me and he danced as well.
We
I
have
got
that
that from
in
him.
common.
And it's funny because I look back at my life then and now, and I realized how much I never realized why I wanted to stop pursuing like the entertainment business, because it wasn't fulfilling me because I wasn't helping other people. It was all about me and I didn't like that. I'm not a competitive person. I don't like to be in the spotlight. It wasn't fulfilling for me because I wasn't like, it just didn't feel like my path. So looking back, that's why I kind of realized like, oh, okay, this is why I'm meant to do this and not that. And I just truly believe like, at least that brought me out to LA because I feel like I wouldn't have came out to LA and if it weren't for dance. But that's why I'm trying to say, like, your life is just, it's set up for you. You know what I mean? Like, you have to trust your guides. You have to trust, that divine, whatever it is you believe in, that like you are being led to places and people and things for a purpose. And it doesn't have to be your end all be all. Like you can come out here like me, I did for dance, and then you can end up totally somewhere else, like not even doing it anymore. And it doesn't mean you gave up. It just means it just wasn't your purpose, but that was a part of your path. That makes sense.
Exactly. I fully believe that. Sometimes little things along the way are like stepping stones, right? They may not seem like where you're supposed to be, and
Right.
sometimes maybe we even reject them, but there's reasons, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you don't realize it until you look back like years later and you're like, okay,
Yeah.
that needed to happen in order for me to be where I am today. So
Exactly. No, I think we're big believers in that for sure. So yeah. So you had mentioned before that you're usually on our end.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I started a podcast, which is actually insane to me because I can't even believe I'm doing this because when I tell you I had a debilitating fear of public speaking and speaking to people and social anxiety, like it was so bad to the point where I would get sick. I would call out of school, call out of work, like just it was so bad.
Yeah.
So I think when I started healing my throat chakra, I'm very into the chakras and everything like that.
Yeah.
I started healing that by, speaking my truth and talking more and making more connections with people who are like me. That's kind of where I was like having these downloads of like starting a podcast. And I'm like, what is this? Like, why would I ever start a podcast? What am I going to talk about? Who's going to listen? But it took like years and years and years for me to understand, oh, this is what I'm supposed to start a podcast about, because going back to the theme of like wanting to help people, I also want like you guys to like, showcase people too and like what they're capable of, and that there's like, so many talented people out there who are helping other people, and it helps them get their name out. So, and that brings me happiness too, connecting with other, especially women. Just it's very empowering, and that's kind of what I do on my podcast. I'm able to showcase what other people are doing in the spiritual community too, mediums, energy workers, whatever it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we could somehow collaborate with that.
I would love to do that. I actually thought about that. I see you guys are just so like active on here, you know what I mean? But I would love that.
Yeah. That would be awesome. Yeah. It was so great having you and talking to you and hearing you. You're really a light.
Thank you. That's amazing to hear, and I'm so like happy you guys are doing this. I think that's amazing. Again, I think it's so important to not only be like pursuing your own thing, but also like showing other people and what they're doing, and then you just build connections along the way too.
Yes.
So
we love it. We're definitely, very, very passionate about it. I mean, this is so fulfilling. We just want to do more and more of it. So
we'll keep doing it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And so if anybody wants to find you, would you like to tell them where they could find you?
So on my Instagram, at it's Taylor Brielle. And then I have a mediumship website where you can book with me. It's taylorbriellemedium.com. So thank you guys again.
Thank you so much, Taylor.
Bye.
And hope to see you soon.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Wow.
She's awesome.
Yeah, she's super awesome. Tons of energy and just, great. I mean, she's obviously really passionate about what she does, and it's something that's a real gift. So
it's amazing to see because, I mean, I've seen the healing in her. I've seen I see the difference. She said 9 years that she was out here. I can still remember the phone call from Jeff saying, that his daughter was moving out here, and can you keep an eye on her? And anyway, and like she said, she was a dancer. We had things in common. In fact, there's a lot of things we have similar. And anyway, it's no what is it? It's not a coincidence that, she's out here and we've connected.
Right.
And all of this.
And we've connected. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, anyway, her dad is up there doing magic. I know he's really happy that, that her and I have connected. But anyway,
awesome.
So, like you can see it. Like her eyes are different, everything. You can she's a light.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's
why I said that, because I definitely, she just is. So yay. So yes, look for all her links, and we'll be posting this here and on and on YouTube. We'll go to YouTube and Facebook. Thank you so much.
And
so
going
forward, the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, so we're going to do something different the next couple of weeks. Instead of coming on live, because it is summertime and we need a little vacation.
Yeah, there's some stuff going on in our lives. So we decided, we probably won't have any live interviews for the next couple of weeks, although we will resume those.
Yeah.
But look for some unboxings from us.
Yes.
We have some amazing female vendors and, creative women that have given us some items that we will unbox for you and show off and then tell you how to find them.
Yes, that's going to be exciting.
Yeah, and we'll probably, so just look for it on our page. We'll, I'm not sure what time of day. Like, we've been doing the live interviews at 3, but those will probably just still come on quite possibly on a Wednesday, on our social media pages. So, and also, look for us on YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you so much for following us. And those of you who come on and watch our live interviews, we really appreciate that, and we love seeing you here. And definitely tell your friends, if you know any women that might like to be a part of what we're doing, whether it's us featuring them or adding creative content, please.
Or unboxing.
Our way. Mm-hmm.
Or unboxing.
Most definitely.
All right. It's about that time.
Oh, and buy a coffee. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Yes. See, we couldn't do it without you. Yes. So if you go to our Flow page, which is in our bio, it's a clickable link. You can buy us coffee and check out what that is. We'd really appreciate it, because we need all the coffee we can get.
Yes, we do. So we
want to keep doing what we're doing and make it better. So, and there's other links there as well where you can purchase subscription boxes. And we're working on, we have a few items in there, but we do have merchandise as well. So,
yeah.
All right.
I think that's it.
I think that's it for today. Thank you so much, everyone.
All right.
Have a good one.
Until next time.
Happy summer. Bye.